handle, you idiot. I said across her nose, not up it.
Sorry, sir. Doing my best.
Who made that man a gunner?
I did, sir. He's my cousin.
Who is he?
He's an asshole, sir.
I know that. What's his name?
That is his name, sir. Asshole. Major asshole.
And his cousin?
He's an asshole, too, sir. Gunner's mate, first class, Philip Asshole.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo!
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
So hello everybody, how are you today? I got up this morning and during my normal morning constitutional, which for you people for the age of 40 is I was taking my morning dump, I happened across this article. NASA spent millions on environmental justice and equity grants despite budget woes. So instead of furthering human endeavor, instead of basically making sure the human species survives past whatever could happen to this planet that we live on, and believe me, very nasty things have happened to this planet in the past. Actually, at one point, 95% of all living things died. So you can understand. So instead of that, we are worried about DEI. As always, this is the left. So let's take a look at the article. Daily Caller News Foundation. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration has shelled out millions in awards to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as environmental justice, despite recently laying off staff and shuttering space programs due to budgetary shortfalls. NASA has allocated roughly $10 million to pay out dozens of grants and contracts aimed at advancing some element of environmental justice, or DEI, since 2020, federal spending records show. The agency is multiple billions of dollars short of the funding required to complete its current mission, has fired hundreds of people working on its Mars missions over budgetary concern, and may not have enough funding to maintain a multi-billion-dollar space telescope, according to multiple Washington Post reports. So this is basically what the left does, and Marxists do. In specific, they destroy things from the inside. Now, I say this a lot. I know maybe the 2 or 3 people that are listening to this might get sick of me hearing this, but this is historically true. And one of these days I will go over that. If you want me to, put me in the comments, say, yeah, we want you to go over this history that you keep talking about as far as Marxism is concerned. Guys, we have been fighting this war against communism since the 1950s. Believe it. All right, when they broke open the KGB records in the mid-90s, they did find out that, yes, okay, Hollywood had been infiltrated by communists. There are books on the subject. However, like I said, let's go in with this one. But this is how DEI or Marxism works. It hides in concepts such as DEI and inclusion, okay? The environmental justice movement focuses on ensuring communities receive equitable protection from natural and human-induced environmental hazards. NASA's webpage on equity and environmental justice reads, it embodies the principle that all communities should be heard and represented in decision-making. Okay, when you go into decision-making like this, no, not everybody needs to be heard. You know who needs to be heard? The people who know what they're doing. Okay? The color of your skin does not say, yes, you know what you're doing. All right? The content of your mind, okay, what you can do, what you can accomplish with it is what makes you part of this type of endeavor, okay? As if you knew me for any longer than 5 minutes, you would know I am a complete NASA head, okay? I am a complete space program head. I have loved this stuff ever since I saw Star Wars, and I loved it even more when I got a clue and actually started studying the space program and actual science. It's actually really neat how all this stuff works, okay? So, but it takes a lot of money to do so. Much of NASA's grant spending went to universities to help them study environmental justice in urban areas as well as other places with high concentrations of racial minorities. For instance, the agency approved $150,000 in funding to Columbia University so it could pair Earth observations and socioeconomic data and enable students to do environmental justice work in New York City, records show. I have absolutely no idea what that has to do with exploring space. Another grant, this time worth $250,000, was paid out to Los Angeles as part of NASA's Predictive Environmental Analytics and Community Engagement for Equity and Environmental Justice. PEACE. Wow, love that acronym. program per federal records to remedy its observation that people of color often face higher exposure to air pollutants. NASA's PEACE program paid the city to provide pollution data to its residents in a way that works across communities and cultural differences and specifically analyzes, engages, and responds to needs for environmental justice. That is a big, long sentence that says absolutely nothing and basically says we're tossing money at something just because it looks good. And that's basically what's going on. If you studied the history of NASA, if you really did, you'd understand that a lot of what NASA does is driven by public opinion. Go all the way back to the Challenger disaster. You know, honestly, what should have happened is 6 months later, they should have sent another one up. But they canceled the project, not canceled the project, but they suspended the project for 2 years. And they knew exactly what was going on. It was all CYA. NASA has set aside over $5 million for environmental justice grants like these since 2022, according to federal records. This, as I said, there are things that are going to expand our knowledge of the universe and hopefully save us or our species from dying out. But, you know, this crap is exactly what we need. I know. As NASA paid out millions to fund environmental justice initiatives, the agency in February fired about 530 people, plus an additional 40 contractors, or 8% of its workforce, working at its Jet Propulsion Laboratory, the Post reported. Many of the workers let go were involved in the agency's Mars Sample Return Program, which was studying possible evidence of past life on the Red Planet, because, you know, who needs that, man? Seriously. While short on funds for Mars research and a major space telescope, NASA shelled out millions on embedding DEI both with its own organizational structure and the broader scientific community, records show. This is crap. This is absolute and utter crap. If you take a look at all of these sciences, if you take a look at the people within engineering and all that kind of stuff, the breakdown of the racial breakdown, pardon me, goes almost exactly with population density. It's the biggest canard in the entire world. When they say, oh yeah, well 10% of all these are 10% of engineers are all black. Well, basically, but black people are only 12% of the population. So that kind of coincides, doesn't it? In 2023, for instance, NASA approved a contract with roughly $2.9 million to a consulting firm to incorporate and deeply ingrain DEI in the culture of its Space Mission Directorate, according to spending records. NASA allocated another $900,000 in 2022 for the National Academy of Sciences to help increase diversity among the leaders of space missions. Okay. Guys, throw this in the comments, okay? Let me know. This right here just absolutely and utterly enrages me. I have no problems with diversity, okay? None whatsoever. My problem is diversity before achievement. And that is one of the things that has been going on. That is what these DEI initiatives do. It completely and utterly dilutes the pool of people that know about this stuff and are and know how to do these things. And what it does is it just creates an area where sometimes these people cannot excel as they should. And that just brings everything down. But what it does is it brings everything down so it's controllable. All right? It's like that famous meme of Linus turning back and looking at Lucy and saying nobody is going to educate you on how to overthrow them. And that's exactly what is going on. NASA also gave the Southeastern University's Research Association thousands of dollars to make the agency's heliophysics material more relevant and open to the Latinx, I really hate to tell you, but Hispanics hate that term, and Native American communities, records show. The agencies paid tens of thousands of additional dollars to Oceanography Society to embed DEI in ocean studies. This is just, again, this keeps things from happening. What this does is it throws money at a situation. The situation never gets solved because, of course, there's all this pernicious influx of racism in the society. If you took everybody that was an actual member of every white supremacist movement in this country and put them together, they would fit neatly inside of a football stadium. Okay? That's how many there are, or that's how few there are by this population, okay? They're a small concentration of idiots whose voices are amplified by the left to make people think, stupid people that is, that this is a worse problem than it actually is, all right? Happens all the time. The language used by NASA to describe its environmental justice program mirrors that used by the Biden-Harris administration's Justice 40 initiative, no crap, which dictate that 40% of the beneficiaries of federal climate and environmental programs must be from unserved communities. I love how they use these things. This is just, oh my God, the vagary of these statements, okay, the vagary of these terms is just maddening, because it basically hides the fact that these are money holes that tax dollars is going to get tossed into. People are going to get money who don't deserve it, and things are not going to excel. And this is why we don't have a space program. Honestly, this is why we don't have a fully functioning space program. It's absolutely and utterly, this is it. The White House Environmental Justice Advisory Council later defined underserved communities as those that are a majority minority. I love, oh my God. If you buy this shit, you are just absolutely lost, man. NASA's work is also covered by the Justice 40 initiative, according to governmental documents. It should know this by now. NASA is completely controlled by whatever is happening in whatever administration that's there. If the administration that's in power at the time does not value the space program, they will not get any money, and they will be inundated with this kind of crap. This happens all the time. When you have an administration that is into the space program, they will throw the money into it. They will try to get things that they want done. But even then, things that could work from another administration will be shelved because the future administration or the present administration doesn't want to give a past administration any credit. So this is why, like I said, if you want to know why we don't have a really functioning space program by this point in time, and it's being basically farmed out to businesses, this is why. This is why, straightforward. Anyway, well, guys, like I said before, this is one of those things that I'm just angry about. So if you would, hey, like I said, comment. Do you think I deserve to be angry? Do you think this stuff actually works? Or do you think that, hey, it's the space program, who cares? Okay? And honestly, if anyone in your family have that pacemaker, then you should care. But anyway, like I said, leave me a comments, like, share, subscribe. Okay, again, it's getting closer to Halloween, and I'm telling you right now, I'm feeling those Reese's peanut butter cups. So subscribe, guys. Keep me out of my kids' Halloween candy. Thank you all very much. Talk to you soon. Later.